Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into the process, Crimson Tide Recruiting, with yours truly, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Justin Smith. This is a new show I want to bring to you guys entitled The Process, where we break down everything Alabama football recruiting encompasses right here on The Process. From offers, commits, targets, pretty much everything that involves around the world of Alabama football recruiting, you're going to find it right here exclusively on The Process. In this first episode, I wanted to break down Alabama's 2020 recruiting class currently as it stands. I also want to give you guys some quick updates on Alabama's 2021 recruiting class as they have landed their first commit and 4-star defensive back, Latrell McClutchin, out of Austin, Texas. Let's get the process started. First, I want to give a position breakdown of Alabama's 2020 recruiting class. When you look at this class, Alabama has every position group filled besides quarterback and a kicker or punter. 4-star running back Hudl Williams gives Alabama his first and only running back commitment. 4 wide receivers gives Alabama his 4 wide receiver commitment. 4-star tight end Caden Clark out of Akron, Ohio gives Alabama his only tight end commit. The duo of Damian George and Seth McLaughlin gives Alabama his 2 offensive lineman commits. On the defensive side of the ball, on the defensive lineman, Alabama has 4 defensive linemen committed. Behind those guys are 3 linebackers, Jackson Bratton, Demore Kennedy, and Cordarius Robinson, which gives Alabama his 3 linebacker commits. 4 defensive backs are behind the linebackers, which gives Alabama 4 defensive back commitments. Alabama also has an athlete commitment in Drew Sanders out of Texas. Sanders has been given a distinguishing mark of being called an athlete, but his particular skill set doesn't fit a particular position. When you look at this Alabama's 2020 group, when it comes to position breakdown, there are 3 particular positions that stand out to me. Those positions are linebacker, tight end, and wide receiver. I say wide receiver because when you look at Alabama's current roster, the group of Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, and Henry Ruggs will most likely go on to the NFL draft next season and are slated to be some high-round draft picks in the next NFL draft. When you look at the fact that Alabama has also only landed 1 wide receiver commit in John Mechie in the 2019 recruiting class. Alabama wants to add depth to the position once those guys leave, and have done a good job early in the 2020 recruiting class by already having verbal commitments from 4 wide receivers in this loaded 2020 class. Alabama also wants to add depth to the linebacker position, but they also want to get back to the point where Alabama linebackers are controlling the defense and that defense are dominating games. And they know it starts with the linebacker, and that's what Alabama fans want to see. And that's why Alabama has hit the recruiting trail so hard for linebackers in the 2020 recruiting class. And these guys that they already have verbally committed are turning heads. The trio of Demore Kennedy, Jackson Bratton, and Cordarius Robinson have Alabama fans excited. Alabama also has some more targets on the board, and Alabama fans are also excited to see how those guys' recruitment process break down. Alabama also wants to add depth to the tight end position, but not only add depth, they want to transform the narrative around Alabama and tight ends. Jeff Banks has hit the recruiting trail and told all of the Alabama's tight end prospects that, hey, Alabama, I know you know Alabama for using their tight ends to block, but hey, we're trying to spread the field. College football is changing. The game of football is changing, and we're trying to get quarterbacks who can spread the ball to the tight end, and that's our goal, and we want you to be a part of it. Caden Clark has spread that message. Jeff Banks has spread that message. That is the message Alabama's trying to get out for the tight end position. I also want to break down Alabama's 2020 recruiting class in its entirety, give you guys some quick evaluations of what I've seen from all 20 guys when I've seen their film, and I've also seen most of them in person. Next thing I want to do is break down Alabama's 2020 recruiting class individually. First up is 4-star running back Hudl Williams out of Hueytown High School. Williams did pretty much everything you wanted your running back to do during his junior season. He ran the ball very low to the ground. He caught the ball out of the backfield. He was able to record multiple 400-plus all-purpose yard games. Many people compare him to former Alabama running back Josh Jacobs because of their similar size and stature, and both of them are willing to catch the ball out of the backfield, but both are also willing to return kicks and punts. The next guy up is Zalian Worsham, a 4-star wide receiver out of here at Trussville High School. Worsham is a guy who can pretty much do everything he wants in space. He can catch the ball in space, he can make acrobatic catches, but he also runs tight and crisp routes. His game is very similar to current Alabama wide receivers Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Devonta Smith. The next guy Alabama has verbally committed is Javon Baker, a 4-star wide receiver out of Georgia. Baker is one of the toughest wideouts in the 2020 class and is most definitely the toughest wideout Alabama has verbally committed in their 2020 recruiting class. Baker has a dog mentality where it's him versus another man. He thrives in those situations where it's him versus you. He's going to see who the best man comes out on top, and this usually is Baker. 4-star wide receiver Thayou Jones-Bell is also committed to Alabama. Bell stands at 5'11" and weighs 185 pounds. He is very dangerous in the open field and has explosive speed. His game is very similar to former Alabama wide receiver Calvin Ridley, with the fact that both of them are very dangerous in open space. The biggest difference between Ridley and Bell is the fact that Bell weighs 180 pounds, and if he can't get past you with his speed and moves, he can run very low to the ground and make him a hard person to tackle. Treshaun Holden rounds out Alabama's wide receiver group with his ability to stretch the field. He can help his quarterback stretch the field with his ability to catch the deep ball. He's a guy with a slim frame with a lot of speed, who is his biggest asset and his biggest weapon at this point, his ability to catch the deep ball. Caden Clark is Alabama's only tight end commit. Clark can line up wide and be a weapon as a wide receiver, as he can go deep and catch the deep ball, but he also can line up tight and be a help in the rushing game. He is a perfect fit for Alabama's new vision for the tight end. Alabama's offensive line group starts with 3-star offensive lineman Seth McLaughlin out of Georgia. McLaughlin weighs 270 pounds currently, which means he will have to add on some more weight before he's able to compete in the trenches of the SEC. McLaughlin is a very technically sound kid. He has good hand placement, and he makes up for his size with the ability to follow assignments that the coaches has produced for him. Damian George is Alabama's other offensive lineman commit. He stands at 6'6", 6'7", weighs 300 pounds plus. He has the size to compete at the next level early and often, but will most likely have to be molded into a better offensive lineman as he's a bit raw at the moment. Alabama's defensive line group is led by 4-star defensive tackle Jason Elijah Jones. Many people have talked about Jason Elijah Jones playing offensive lineman at the next level because of his size. But when you look at his film, you can tell he's most definitely a defensive tackle. He's a huge guy who can plug up the inside, but he also moves pretty good for a guy who's 300 pounds plus. He can stretch his body and tackle fleeing defenders. Alabama also has a commitment from 4-star defensive tackle Jamarian Latham out of Pickens County High School in Reform, Alabama. The thing that really stands out to me about Latham is the fact that he plays for a 1A high school in Alabama, which means he has to play Ironman football and has to play on offense and defense for most of the game. I think this will be a great asset for him at the next level, as he is developing great stamina at this point. Once he gets to the next level, he'll be able to say that, hey, I play offense and defense in high school. I only got to play defense at the next level. Hey, I'm ready for this. I can play most of the game because I'm used to playing offense and defense. Alabama also has a commitment from 5-star defensive end Chris Broswell out of St. Francis Academy. Broswell's game is very similar to his former teammate and current Alabama outside linebacker Iyabi Anoma. Both of them had quick jumps off the line out of high school, but Broswell is very comfortable with dropping back in coverage and being a help in the defensive pass coverage as well. Alabama defensive line class is rounded out by the Tide's latest commit, 4-star defensive end William Anderson out of Georgia. Anderson has a good jump off the line. He brings his arms when he makes tackles, and they oftentimes demand the attention of a double team. Alabama linebacker group is led by 4-star linebacker Jackson Bratton, in-state linebacker out of Shoals, Alabama. Bratton is an inside linebacker on most recruiting sites. He's comfortable in dropping back in pass coverage, and he's also quick to the ball. 4-star linebacker Demore Kennedy is one of Alabama's latest commits. Kennedy plays for Theodore High School in Theodore, Alabama. Theodore's head coach Eric Collier told George Truly, once Alabama got a commitment from Kennedy, they got a commitment from the hardest work he's ever seen, and he was a defensive coordinator for Theodore High School where former Alabama linebacker C.J. Mosley played for Theodore. The thing that's most impressive about Kennedy is the fact that when he runs track, he runs the 400 meters race, which is very impressive for a 200-pound player. Alabama's latest linebacker commit is Quandarius Robinson. Robinson can play sideline to sideline as he lines up as outside linebacker for Jackson Olin High School in Birmingham, Alabama. He's a lengthy guy with a good wingspan and good size. Alabama's defensive back group starts with 4-star defensive back Malachi Moore out of Trussville High School. Moore is a very aggressive defensive back who thrives in bump and run coverage. Moore added a bunch of muscle and a bunch of weight this past offseason and is expected to be a huge part of Trussville's defense and a huge leader. 4-star safety Brian Branch gives Alabama a very familiar skill set in their 2020 recruiting class. He draws comparison to former Alabama safety Eddie Jackson and his ability to be a weapon in the return game, but also his ability to jump passes and turn those interceptions into pick sixes. 4-star defensive back Jaquarius Robinson rounds out Alabama's defensive back group. Robinson is a skinny kid who can go scribe to scribe with any defender. He's also not afraid to come downhill and make some tackles when need be, but he's most impressive when he's in coverage going scribe to scribe with any wide receiver. He's also a very scrappy defender when the ball is in the air. Javier Morton brings an aggressive side to Alabama's defensive back group as well, but he also possesses the size to be very aggressive as he has a very wide and thick frame that Alabama will look to exploit once he gets to the next level. Alabama's only athlete commit is considered an athlete for many reasons. Drew Sanders pretty much lined up anywhere during his junior season, including quarterback, wide receiver, and linebacker on the defensive side of the ball. Alabama most likely plays Sanders at linebacker. When you see him at linebacker, you see he's very comfortable in pass coverage. He can come downhill and make up ground pretty quickly. His experience on the offensive side of the ball definitely translates to his ability to play defense. I want to close out the first show by discussing Alabama's first 2021 commit and 4-star defensive back Latrell McCutcheon. McCutcheon is a name that many people may know because he was once featured on Esquire's hit TV show Friday Night Tights. McCutcheon expressed to me they chose Alabama because of Alabama defensive back coach Carl Scott and Alabama special teams coordinator Jeff Banks' honesty on the recruiting trail. He told me that a lot of guys lied to him on the recruiting trail, but those guys were always honest. You can check out that full interview on touchdownalabama.com. That pretty much wraps up the first show of the process. Hope you guys will join me throughout this process as the show continues to grow and grow. Until next time, thank you guys for joining me on the process.